Darkcast Network. Indie pods with a dark side.
Welcome back to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuck. And I'm one of your hosts, Lana.
And I'm Kelsey.
And we're back for our second part in our old Hollywood series.
Yeah.
And wowzers. I did not remember a lot of the first one because you edited and then my brother was texting me jokes that I wasn't getting.
Oh yeah, I did edit that one.
References, and I was like, oh shit, was I even there for that episode?
No, I just edited your responses in from previous episode audio sound bites. Wow, cool!
Right.
I can't believe it. Wow, shocking.
Can you imagine?
I just have a soundboard of Alana responses, and I just play them on a keyboard.
Yeah. I was like, okay, yeah. To be fair, I didn't edit that one. I was like,
yeah.
But also,
and it was like over a week ago.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're gonna record this one and then popping out our Patreon because that got a little delayed, schedules conflicting and things, and birthdays are happening. Oh, it's that season, but seasonal depression is ending, so that's good because it's a lot sunnier now.
On Sunday, when I was going to the witches market, I drove with my windows down, and I was like, "Oh, I've forgotten fresh air."
Yeah. It's
driving with your windows down is so nice. I forgot how nice it was.
Yeah, and it's funny because obviously there's people with way different climates going on. We had California fires, and then we're up here, and we were in a cold snap. And there was a post on the Edmonton subreddit that was like, what are you guys gonna do now that it's not minus 40 or whatever, minus whatever for the last, I don't know if I was telling you that, but it was funny. People just like, open my windows, like let in fresh air,
yes,
break up the ice. And yeah,
open my windows, get some fresh air is my go-to.
Oh yeah, we can start using our patio door again because we get terrified it's gonna like freeze open or freeze shut, or it freezes. So yeah,
that's probably really annoying for you guys.
Yeah, we let the dog out the side of the garage instead, so it's it's longer. But yeah, Pat's birthday happened this weekend, so I had 3 days off, but it's Monday and I'm still tired, and this was the only day we could get this one recorded.
Yeah.
It's all your fault. You are always working. No.
I am. This week we're currently in is the first week where I didn't have 3 closing shifts. I only have 2. So
yeah,
it does make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, sometimes we can like shove it in on a Saturday afternoon, but most of the times we're mostly only able to do it on evenings. So
yeah, it really depends.
You guys know, so keep listening and telling people and subscribing and being on Patreon and all of the things, because you're gonna keep us going.
The episodes will eventually get released. Come on.
Yes, I am very excited for this one, and then the forensic February one we have been working on, and just ignore the fact that it's slightly into March. It's fine. And we'll all keep moving on with our lives.
Our cute little alliteration idea didn't work. So we're like, ooh, forensic February.
And
It's like, nope,
not
it's March.
February starting out like so slow because it was so bloody cold and dark and boring, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it was like over in like 3 seconds, and I was like, wait, February, oh
Yeah.
no, now it's March. Oh my god. Yeah, so I don't know, we can crack into it if you want, because
Yeah.
I
I
don't
was
know, I
gonna say
might.
you're going first, but I'm not going at all, so it's just you. Take it away, Lana.
Oh, oh no, I'm gonna have only myself to listen to when I edit this week.
I'm
Gross. No.
I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled. I don't have to do anything.
She just kicks back and closes her eyes and paints on, like, fake eyes on top of her eyelids. I'm here. Oh, there was one episode of And That's Why We Drink where Christine, like, famously accidentally got too cozy and fell asleep when Em was telling their story.
Oh jeez. I
And that
mean, I was more
went down in
prone a
history.
couple of the times. I mean, before we started having the videos that we could see each other,
Yeah.
sometimes when it was just us on our phones or just
Oh
the
my
audio,
gosh. The
it
early
was a lot harder to not daydream or zone out and then be like, wait, what's happening?
Yes, totally. Yeah. It's very much harder to focus when you can't see anything. You're just like,
Yeah.
that's why I'm not good on the phone. Total.
Nope, I am not either.
Yeah.
I normally have to walk around when I'm on the phone, or I, for some reason, can't pay attention to what's happening. If I'm sitting,
Yeah.
I will be like zoning out. I gotta keep moving so that I'm focused on the phone call.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe you have the touch of the
I do.
I was trying to remember what ADD stood for, and then I couldn't get there. Wow. There you go. My brain's gonna make it today. Good thing I have words on a page. Let me go to this script.
Yeah. Right?
Ah, my God, yes. Yeah, no, it's a struggle to focus. I think it's that inattentive ADHD thing too.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
even
it's rough.
watching something on YouTube and they were talking about how people don't have attention spans and have to watch stuff like while they eat. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, great. I'm sitting here watching them complain about that while I eat dinner. It's like, God damn it. They're like, people
And if
spend too
something
much time
doesn't,
on social media, especially while they're
oh yeah.
eating and on here and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, what am I doing right now? Eating in front of my laptop while they talk about people eating in front of TVs. Cool.
Oh no, we've lost all our community. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we used to have dial up, and now I'm pretty sure I read that if something doesn't load within 3 seconds, like the web page, you're gonna get frustrated. I'm like, if something doesn't get your attention in 3 seconds, you're just gonna scroll on.
Yeah.
I see people do it.
100%.
I do it myself. Yeah. Oh, it's rough. Anyway, so now that everyone's already moved on,
Yeah.
couldn't pay
Let's go
attention
back
for
in
5
time.
minutes.
Let's talking about current world problems about attention spans. Let's go back in time.
Oh, I also love how we were talking about how you went to the witchery market before we started recording, or like officially started the
Yeah.
episode, and then you're like casually just like, and on my way to the witches market, you just dropped that in there,
I know.
which was great. But go to her Instagram; she won a little gift baggie.
Yeah, I got cute little things and then I spent almost $100.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you still got some freebies.
Yeah,
That's
I
funny.
did. I will post my pictures of it. I'll see if Gordo plays with this little F-bomb.
You have a knitted
There's like
F-bomb. Yes.
it looks like a little bomb with like a fuse and then it has
Oh
an
yeah.
initial F on it, and I think these were supposed to be F-bombs, but at the table that I know it was from, like the vendor, she had other initials that she was doing. She had like a bunch of initials, like almost the whole alphabet on the table. So I know there's like you could buy letters and it was the same thing. It was on a little bomb. But I like to think the fact that I have the F, that it's an
Yes,
F-bomb.
that's good.
Because I think that's funnier, because I don't know. Maybe Fen. Fen is probably the only one I know
Oh,
that
wow.
has an F initial. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I can think of too. No, it's cute. It looks like the little bomb guys
yeah,
from like Mario, Super Mario, just without their little
it
legs
does.
or
It's
yeah.
really cute, and I think they were like $10 or $15 each. So the fact that it was free in the bag is like, wow.
Oh,
She
it
had to
was
make
in the
20 of these.
bag. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
this was
nice.
free in the bag, and they do 20 of them each of the 2 days. So like she had to give away 40 of these. Like if yeah,
Damn. We're gonna have to
right?
figure
That's
out
why
what
most
that
of the other people give away stickers and stuff. And
which we don't even do that. So we'll give her a shout out, and that's our cue to say donate on patreon.com/castles and cryptids.
where
Oh
I
my
think if
god.
you're still a Patreon member at one of the tiers, after 3 months, you get a sticker.
That is true. A couple of people have gotten a sticker. I have mine on my um thing because we got a sample one.
Yeah,
Not
I
because
have
I'm my
mine
own
on the wall.
patron. I'm my own grandpa. Okay, enough class. I wasn't even giggly before we started. It's just what happens.
No
Um
fun. It's Monday night.
ugh. Plus, like, the story was so good, and the article, because it was Vanity Fair, was like
Oh
so
yeah.
good and so juicy and long that
Yep.
you like feel like you've watched a Lifetime movie or something by the time you get done them. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I've had that with a few of mine that I've pulled from Vanity Fair. It got
Right.
you're just like, damn, how long is this article? You just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you're like, wow, this is
Yeah.
everything I ever needed to know.
It is. It's like this must have been half of the magazine. And
Yeah.
they are really long. But they're great. And it was funny because we've been rewatching some Friends, and then there's the one where Phoebe starts going to book club and Rachel wants to go, and but she doesn't read the book, and then she's like, well, I got stuck reading something else, and Phoebe's like, what? And she's like, I think it's Vogue, actually. Vogue. But maybe it was Vanity Fair. But either way, I was like, oh, if it's Vanity Fair, the articles are fucking long. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, this is about Lana Turner and her her BF, her man, Johnny Stompanato. I'm going with Stompanato.
Okay.
And I know it's Lana. She talks about it. Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think we both went pretty far back. 'Cause it's funny, yeah, I don't know if we talked about it. If you look up old Hollywood crimes, sometimes you just get any
Like the
celebrity.
70s.
It's the 80s, the 90s. I was just like, oh, that's not what I wanted. Just like any
I know, I ran into the same thing.
celebrity.
This one of them was like in
Yeah.
2008, and I was like, nope.
No.
It's like, what are we class? When I put old,
Yeah.
I need almost 100 years ago. Okay, not in 2008.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Gordo.
Right on time.
He did stretch up and try and rip the stickers off the wall.
Well, he's a jackass.
Oh my god, buddy. He's a cute jackass.
So good.
This is him thumping his tail because he's so mad.
His cuteness doesn't help us on a non-visual medium.
Yeah.
Oh, he is cute though. So we'll start with a little bit of Lana's background. She was actually born Julia Jean Judy Turner. The Judy's in quotes.
Oh wow.
So maybe
Judy
that was a
Jean.
nickname. Yeah.
Julia Judy Jean Turner?
Julia Jean, quote, Judy Turner.
Wow. That's a lot of J's.
I know, right? I'm starting to understand why she changed it. To Lana. But she was born to her parents were John Virgil Turner and Mildred Frances Cowan.
That's 2 more names we need to bring back. Mildred and... Sorry, what was the dad's middle name?
Francis? Oh,
Francis.
Virgil?
Virgil. That one.
Maybe. I don't know. My parents kind of have old-timey names. Also, there is some old-timey names coming back. Like I see when I do the healthcare, I don't know if I talked about that, but I'll see like the baby names that people are naming them. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like Edith. And I'm like, what? Just,
Yeah.
ugh. Yeah, Francis. Mildred. I don't know. I just can't get behind it. My dad dated a Millie. She was not very nice. Okay.
It's bad that the first nickname that popped into my head was just Dread.
Judge Dredd.
I was like, oh, people
Oh
are gonna be
my
like, she's
God.
so gloomy. Her name's Dread.
Her name's Dredd. Oh my lord. Amazing. She was born. Okay, so she was a February baby. February 8th, 1921 in Wallace, Idaho. Midwest, baby.
Yeah.
And tragically her father died a violent death when she was only 9. He was beaten
Ooh.
and robbed. Was like spending a night out gambling and playing craps. So he was robbed of his craps winnings one night in San Francisco and killed.
Jeez.
What is that
Gordo
noise?
is just smacking his tail against the desk. He looks wild right now.
Gordo, you're like
His
really
head is,
ruining the
like-
moment, buddy.
His
A man
fur
has
is
died.
poofed up. His I don't know, the fur around his neck and shoulder area is like poofed up, and then his head is pushed in.
Oh, he's made it like he's all rough.
Yeah. And then he's just
That's funny.
with his tail.
What a weirdo. Cats are strange.
Yes. Yeah. Buddy.
We'll have to take an intermission. Okay. So yeah, that happened. So she at that time went to stay with friends in Stockton, I guess. Her mother sent her there for a while, but then she got abused. She was taken away from living with them. Yeah, it's not going so great so far.
No. That sounds really sad. She's so young.
I know. It's yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say she learned from the best. No.
Oh no.
No. I just mean like, yeah, they did it. You know, the parenting skills that back then. I don't know.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe they did the best they could. They moved a couple more times, her and her mom. And everywhere they went, they would always make sure to find time to go to the movies. That was like their thing. So,
yeah,
her mom just loved them, and her mother also was really good at sewing and repurposing like clothes into fancier clothes.
oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, could kind of make them look like a little bit more stylish. Then 1936, they moved to LA, so it's just like, oh, real old Hollywood glamour, I'm sure.
Yeah, the 30s were definitely
30s. Well,
20s and 30s, I feel like.
I mean, I'm like, I love it, but also at the same time, it's like it's the height of the Depression, also. So it's it's also not everyone's not doing so great.
No.
But yeah, you could just like go and start going to Hollywood High, which just sounds like something made up almost.
Yeah.
The sign. Remember how the sign it used to say Hollywood Land, and then the land part came down. It's like it probably still said Hollywood Land. It's so weird.
Gordo, stop it.
She is acting out a little bit as a teen. She's skipping some classes, and one time she skips class and goes to get a Coke at the Top Hat Cafe nearby.
Not a Coke. Did it have real cocaine in it still?
It definitely had that sexy glass silhouette.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, it's supposed to look like a woman's curves. And she's getting noticed for her curves, I'm sure, by a publisher at the Hollywood Reporter who happens to be there. And he says, "Hey, gal, you want to be in the movies?" Just like that.
Yeah. Yeah, ever thought of modeling?
And she's like, "Oh, golly gee, I guess I'll have to ask my mom." Just the sweetest thing ever. So she gets herself an agent, a Zeppo Marks, which is a hell of a name.
Zeppo.
Right? I got nothing. And that's her agent, and she quickly gets a small part in a movie where she gets to get murdered. Yay!
The original Law and Order or CSI cameo. Play a dead body.
Oh yeah, everyone's it's like a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be hard. You have to just sit there. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is why I never made it. Couldn't sit still enough to be a dead body. No. So around this time, she gets a little rebrand, starts going by her new name, Lana Turner, for which both she and Warner Brothers guy named Mervyn Leroy would claim credit for the name change, I guess.
Okay.
I'm sure it was someone's idea. And then she tells her mother, "You'll never have to work again." And turns out she was right. So that was kind of cool.
That's nice. I like people that like give back to their parents and everything.
Yeah, even if she had a bit of a rough start, it's like, trying to do better. So of course she's touted and built up as like this sexy girl, this new it girl.
Yeah.
Frequently having scenes where she would just have to strut across the room, and then one she was wearing a sweater, so they started her calling her the inventive name of Sweater Girl. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh, talk about getting typecast. I did one role, one sweater.
I wore one cardigan. I'm cardigan girl.
Oh my god, so stupid.
Smoking cardigan girl number 1.
Well, I mean, I guess it's better than like Tits McGee, but maybe that's the only the only one they wanted to print. They called her
Secretary number 2.
Sort of. No, she became known for playing it said luxury loving bad girls. Whatever that means. Pretty, I don't know. Sugar babies, I don't know. She also would become known for her clubbing, her glamorous lifestyle, and had some affairs with some more mature gentlemen, like a Greg Bouter. I don't know if that's how you say it. But yeah, he was like, was still quite young and had just started there not too long ago, and he was a 30-year-old lawyer for MGM, I guess. So
okay.
Yeah, she's moving up in the world. She dated billionaire Howard Hughes. Ever heard of him?
Yep.
I was like, okay, here we go. And she's like working with hot stars like Clark Gable and someone named Robert Taylor. She was a popular pinup girl during World War II. Posters.
Okay. Oh yeah. Gotta inspire the soldiers. They gotta have something worth fighting for.
Keep those troops' spirits up. Yeah.
Yeah. Or something.
Yeah. By 1942, she is getting married to a Stephen Crane. They quickly get pregnant, and she quickly finds out his first marriage is not fully over, and then decides to have this one annulled.
Oh my
Ugh,
god.
yeah. She's
Damn.
a bit of a Liz Taylor when it comes to her love life. There's a lot of marriage stuff that's gonna go on. Oh,
Damn.
that's why it's such a good like her life is interesting, and then obviously there's a story we're gonna come to here, but just bear with us. Um, we're putting on our little scarves and we're getting in our convertible and we're along for the ride.
Yeah.
Kelsey does have a scarf on. No, it's a bandana.
It's like a bandana thing.
Yeah, it's
Like,
okay.
my hair looks bad. I've been wearing it in a ponytail for like 2 days, so I I didn't feel like putting it back up. So I was like, "Oh, let's put a headband in." Keep it out of
That's
my
funny.
face.
Ah, the quality's pretty grainy anyway. I got in here and almost immediately put half of my hair up because it was bugging me.
Yeah.
We're handsome guys. That's what we're saying. We're cute. These don't go on YouTube because we don't have the right lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need to get ring lights. We need to buy a whole new wardrobe. I'm normally wearing my pajamas. I wore these in my house all day today. Like, this was going on YouTube. I would not be doing that. Yeah, Lana had to go to work and make money. I didn't. I stayed home. I stayed home and watched things on YouTube.
I had 3 days off in a row and I was still tired this morning. I was like, oh. I was like, I drank too
I
much
worked
this
all weekend. I worked all weekend. Today was my first day off in like 3 or 4 days. So.
We binge watched a miniseries called The Madness and didn't do much else. Couple of movies. Yeah.
Cool.
It's good. It was good. So 1942, First Marriage. Okay. First Marriage.
Oh no.
Scratch
Spoiler
that,
alert.
it. Oh yeah. He begs her to take him back. I divorced that other lady. So they remarry.
Ugh. Oh my
also,
god.
not people
no, don't do it.
the same person twice. Oh my god, so funny. But remember, she's pregnant, so
I guess so.
Cheryl is born on the 25th of July, 1943. She was born RH incompatible, they call it. So I feel like it doesn't happen as much now because they check both your blood types when you get pregnant and do something so that they don't have to deal with this. But yeah, it has to do with like your blood types not jiving or whatever from the parents. So she actually required several blood transfusions when she was born.
Okay.
So that was stressful.
I didn't know what that meant.
My limited understanding is mostly from Outlander, so don't quote me on it. But I was pregnant once, and I feel like it is something they do check on because they're like, oh,
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's something to do with blood types. I don't really know. I didn't have any time for any rabbit holes with this one.
Yeah.
So Lana is working constantly, and that's stressful. So they do end up divorcing like the following year. But it won't be long before she finds love with a guy who also has an awesome name, Tyrone Power.
That is a good name. I like that.
I like it too.
What does he do?
He rocked
Is he a billionaire?
I don't know. I literally only looked him up to see if I was like, he sounds like a strong black man. He wasn't. He was white. Yeah. That's all I remember.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
I also assumed based on the name Tyrone.
Right? No. Isn't that terrible? Should we look him up? Is he an actor? I don't know. It could be anything.
Tyrone Power.
Oh. Yeah. Oh no. Did I click the thing? Almost clicked our intro music again by mistake. That's where my mouse was. Oh, yes, he was an actor. Tyrone Power, American actor. Okay. Yeah, she's meeting. Oh, he's suave.
Is he?
Dark hair.
God damn it.
Maybe Italian. I don't know.
They all look it when it's in black and white. Everybody just looks.
Yeah.
The cameras didn't have as good of resolution.
He's
but it's in
swarthy.
black
He's
and
swarthy.
Yeah.
Such a good word. She was madly in love with Tyrone, but he ends up breaking her heart and leaving her for Linda Christian. Wow, I can't read.
Not Linda.
It's a roller coaster, I'm telling you. Lana's third husband was Bob Topping. Bless him, a fun name. Kind of funny. She marries him in 1948, so she's on the rebound from Tyrone, which was just the year before. This guy's unfortunately a mean drunk, so that's no good.
Ooh, get rid of
Yeah.
him. Let's move on to number 4. Is there a number 4?
Yeah, of course. Didn't I say Liz Taylor? What does she have, like 8 ex-husbands? Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a lot. Okay, so this one, she had 2 pregnancies with him that sadly resulted. Oh, trigger warning. Miscarriage, unfortunately, like happened. Yeah, it happens again. So it's like just gonna put that out there. So she had 2 pregnancies with him that one ended in a miscarriage and one ended in a stillbirth. So both quite traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy, Bob, left her in 1951. And this was so distressing that she slashed one of her wrists. Sorry, trigger for suicide attempt. Trigger warning. Too late. Maybe I'll just go and put one in at the very beginning for all of the things that and in the description.
It's a true crime episode.
Oh, yeah.
People know.
I know. I do feel bad though if people have specific anyway. So that happened, and then when she had like a scar on her wrist or whatever, so they had to make her a special bracelet to cover it up when she was filming a movie called The Merry Widow, rather ironically. Yeah. So that's unfortunate and pretty rough. But now it was like the early 1950s, and she was financially and her career was doing really well. She's raking in like $5,000 a week in 1950s money. Oh, whatever that is.
Like $1 billion.
It's funny because I do listen to the one podcast called Disaster Hour where he will be like, what do you think that's worth in today's money? And then put on the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music. And sometimes she guesses the co-host really close to like, what's $5,000 in 1950s in today's money? And she'll be like $70,000 or something, right?
Well, once you know a few of them, if you know like what 10,000 is or like that kind of stuff in like kind of similar decades, it's probably not too hard to make guesses. Gordon,
I don't know. I mean, it's occasionally she gets it pretty spot on, and then other times it's just like, oh no, like it's. I think I would be terrible at it.
But even getting shit, if like people got paid $5,000 a week, like
oh my god, that's a lot
nowadays.
Today.
You would be like losing your shit.
Right? A week.
Hold on, I'm gonna math what it would be right now. Not even like converted, but just if you got $5,000 a week for
like 52
$20,000
a month
a year, it'd be $260,000. That's a fabulous job.
Assuming you're working that whole time. Yeah.
That's $250,000 a year. Yeah, that's great.
She's rich, biatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's taking a toll. They said she had bouts of melancholia, which I'm sure we would call it today depression. And
Yeah.
she was known to take amphetamines to improve her mood. Put a little
Oh,
pep
not
in her
doing
step.
that.
Yeah. Everybody was always on drugs. You
Gordo
seen
says don't do drugs.
you seen that video of Hitler at the whatever Olympics? He's just like jittery as fuck. Oh my god. Anyway,
No.
I know I went right to Hitler. I'm sorry.
I was like, I don't Google videos of Hitler in my spare time, Alana.
You really need to get on Reddit. No.
I'm sorry to tell you.
It's the best and the
Is this
worst.
like is that like that fucking, is it Kim Jong-un looking at things or whatever? Is that, or doing things?
Oh
There used
god,
to
I
be
don't
a
know.
Twitter that was just him looking at things because he always stood with his hands like cross, kind of like folded behind his back, and it would be him just doing things. So it's
Oh
like him riding an
god.
escalator, just like deadpan,
Oh,
straight face, and then him looking in a swimming pool, like
like
just
everything he does, he looks like
everyday
he's
thing.
staring at a piece of art in the museum or something. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, just like no emotion, no reaction, just doing things. Like,
Oh my god, the internet. It's a wild place.
and Gordo's back. He's by the mic purring. If the mic picks it up, I don't know if it will.
We'll tell him, keep it down in front.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, so talk about rich. Lana is living in a 15-room mansion in a place called
Whew.
Holmby Hills, which is a terrible name, very hard to say. But the house has a soda fountain, a beauty parlor, a pool, a tennis court, and is equipped with 10 servants.
Nice.
Oh
Good
my
for her.
god.
You know what? Good for her.
It's a regular California mansion. Ugh.
I hope she walks around in a like the sheer black feather cuffed robe just at all times. Just
Well, you know, there
like
was
that.
a few times where they, of course, have to describe, yeah, her clothes because it was Vanity
Yeah.
Fair. Yes, picture the white Cadillac monogrammed with her initials that she drives. It's the whole
Yes.
9 yards. It's
Classy.
Cribs before Cribs was a thing. Yeah, you remember MTV's Cribs? I
I think I've
mean,
only seen a few episodes.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
me
I
too. But
watched more so
hurt.
like Pimp My Ride.
Oh yeah, that was the thing.
Than I watched Cribs, but
Early reality
I didn't
TV,
watch a
man.
whole lot of either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were wild times. Who wants to marry a millionaire? Yeah. um, on set, she's got the biggest dressing room. She has her own, I'm just going to call it a personal record player DJ girl who puts the record she wants to listen to on the record player for her. That's her whole job. Um,
Nice.
she's got a lady named Carmen Cruz. They refer to her as her maid. So, but like she does become very close to Lana. So they, friends as much as you can be with your
Your
entourage.
employer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of those stars are so isolated. It's the only people they see all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah. But they would sit in the afternoon and drink coffee and chat and watch TV and like actually hang. So,
That's nice.
yeah, I thought it was cute. She called her Lanita. She said, Lanita was, sorry, I think I might have to start going by Lanita. It's just, no. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of like Spanish sounding things that are thrown in. So maybe it's because of Carmen. But she said, Lanita was a very good businesswoman. She felt betrayed by some people that she had trusted and gave loans to as well. Lana helped many, many people. She was always there for Carmen during all her big life milestones. In 1953, Lana had her next big milestone when she married Lex Barker, former Tarzan. That's who he is.
What? Oh,
I guess
I
he
don't
played
know.
Tarzan.
It's not
Tyrone?
No.
Oh.
I can't remember his name.
Brendan Fraser?
He
Oh,
played
wait.
George. Yes, George of the
Oh,
Jungle. Brendan Fraser.
okay.
He's the only Tarzan I know, besides the animated Disney one.
Oh, I was about to start going, wait, Skarsgård, because he was hot. He
Oh,
played.
I didn't watch that one.
Oh, love me a Skarsgård. Okay.
I normally do too. I think I tried watching that movie. It's not good.
Oh, no. No, yeah, just the movie. Yeah, I don't really remember. I was too busy looking at his abs.
Right?
Oh, yeah, now I'm all flustered. Okay. So she marries Lex Barker, former Tarzan. They also tried and failed to have a child together. Her depression and drinking worsened at this time. By 1957, they had broken up, and this was a nasty ending as there was an allegation of abuse from her daughter Cheryl against
Oh, okay.
Lex.
I was gonna
So
say, where is her
yeah.
daughter in all of this? She just has the
Uh,
one kid, right?
she does just have the one kid. Her mom steps in to help
Yeah.
a lot. Mildred's there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What, buddy? Lay down.
So he definitely denied this allegation of sexual
Well, of
abuse.
course.
And,
It'll be
yeah.
like, you caught me. Of course I did it.
I mean, I just
I'm an
have to.
asshole.
It's alleged. I don't know. I have to say. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. All I know is he denied it to his dying day, and he called Cheryl very strange and said she would end up in great trouble. So there's
Oh.
that. But yeah, I don't blame her. She broke up with him right away, and that was like, at least she wasn't having any of that. Like, good for Lana.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe the best thing is to be apart. Like,
Yeah, like, so Lana starts having a rough time at work. She's dealing with some debt, and her contract with MGM comes up for renewal. She strikes out on her own. Out from under the man. No,
that could be
but
hard.
yeah, it could have been like terrible. Like, I don't know. It seems to work out okay for her. She did have to sell the mansion, but downsizing's fine. That place is ridiculous.
Yeah. Who really needs like 10 servants?
Oh my god, totally. She's probably never home. Yeah. Um, she often gets jobs that seem to mirror her life. She was then takes a job or a film about a repressed mother with an emotional daughter that hit pretty close to home for her daughter Cheryl.
Hmm.
That happens a few times. But now we come to our other main player. The names are they're just so chef's kiss. Enter Johnny Steele. At least that's what he's called himself anyway. It's like 50 Shades of who now?
Yeah.
Anastasia Steele, yeah. So Johnny is kind of love bombing her, sending her flowers and gifts and things. These are a few of your favorite things. Yeah. So she's kind of like, oh yeah, he even knows like all the little things I like, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it could be creepy.
Yeah,
Could
it could be
stalking you.
something stocky today. Oh my god. Even up until the 90s, god, our romance movies were so stocky.
I
Yeah.
know. I was listening to something on the radio and they're like talking about cute ways people like met like the one or like the partner they're still with, and this
The
person
meet
called
cute.
in and yeah, was talking about her dad and mom and how the mom worked as a secretary at, oh shoot, was it like a hospital or something? Maybe in like admissions or something, and
Mm.
uh
Oof.
maybe she was a nurse, and dad had come in, and then he kept asking her out, and she kept saying no, 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 and
Oh,
like dozens and dozens of times, and then like over months and months and months.
oh boy.
And then finally, yeah, and then finally said yes, and then they're still together. It was like 50, 60 plus years later. I mean, so it turned out good, but it was just like I was listening to the whole time in the story. I was like, this is all red flags. Like, does anybody else listening to this hear all of the red flags?
Oh, totally. This would not fly to get today. No means no.
No,
I shouldn't
and
have to wear you down. Like,
yeah, and they're just like, yeah, and everybody always that saw them together was like, yeah, she was like so beautiful, like past 10 out of 10, and they look at him and go, and you? Like one, like just nothing, like
oh,
below average guy. It's just like,
oh my
how'd you get
God.
her? And it's like, oh, damn. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
just
not a
didn't
meet
like,
cute. It's just
no, and I didn't like that the radio host was like,
cringe.
oh, he really wore her down. Well, it worked out well for him. And it was like, oh, don't like that. Like,
Yeah, but what are you gonna do?
don't
Like
encourage that.
retroactively shame this guy's dad? Like it's tough. That's a
Yeah.
rough one. I'd be like, oh, okay.
But it's
Glad
like,
that.
okay, well, like maybe after the fifth time she says no, like you shouldn't keep harassing her at her place of employment, okay?
Yeah, just a
Like
little icky.
that's scary. Don't go to
Yeah,
people's jobs.
it's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but that's what I grew up on. Cringy rom-coms.
Absolutely. Same.
It's
So many
all like,
90s movies you're watching and you're going, oh my god, this is so bad.
yeah, if it's not that, it's the she's all that, never been kissed. Like the oh, they're the ugly duckling, but are they really? And then you dress them all up,
Hold
and
on,
then you fall in
let
love
me
with them.
take her glasses off and take out
Yeah,
her ponytail, and oh my god, now she's a model.
because they're
Like,
like
what?
they're Clark Kent glasses. He says that
Yeah.
oh, I picked my scab. That's they have him in Ready Player One. Pat loves that movie, and they like they're in that video game, and she puts the Clark Kent glasses on him. And it's like they're the Clark Kent glasses. They make you look like invisible
Yeah.
to everyone around you. I was like, oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yes, we have met Johnny, and he is quite suave and sexy. So, even though he's a little stalkery, they start sleeping together.
Okay. Okay.
She's now filming a movie called Peyton Place, and he's met Cheryl, and he's quite charming to her, and nothing untoward there that I know of. Just don't get scared. But he would take her
Okay,
on
good.
drives, like, and tell her about how much he cared for her mother and stuff. And Cheryl, at this point, she's older, and she's old enough to work at, or at least they figure she's old enough to work at Johnny's gift shop. I'm sure the laws were more lax.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, oh, it's not that nice of a gift shop, but he always has money. All right. There's always men popping in and out of the store. The
Yeah.
first big fight they had was when Lana found out he'd been hiding his real name from her. His real last
Well,
name.
that's a red flag.
Yeah.
I mean,
What,
unless
your
it's
name's
like
not
her, it's
Johnny
like a stage
Steele?
name. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she's just not technically using her real name anymore, but
Yeah.
when you date people
But
like
it depends
Tyrone
what the
Power,
yeah.
yeah.
Depends what the context is of not using the right name.
Oh, yes. And it was probably due to his mob connections. So,
Oh, so that's a bad reason to
yeah, he worked as a bodyguard for. Did you talk about him in your case, Mickey Cohen? Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe he came up when I read something about your case, when I was reminding myself what you talked about.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the two guys that disappeared around the same time as Jean worked for Mickey.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds familiar. Yes, there's a little crossover there. He was Mickey's
Interesting.
bodyguard. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh
interesting.
yeah, he comes up again. So yeah, he was probably trying to hide that side of himself from her, and she's trying to present this, glamorous movie star image. So she's like, no, it's over. Like, I don't need this
Okay.
trouble. She's ghosting him as best as she can, seeing other people, like going out on other dates. But yeah, he's persistent, shall we say? Just like
Oh
those
no.
that guy and the secretary. Ugh. No, it's really shitty though. She would lock her bedroom door every night, like she was scared, I guess. Until one night she forgot, and he entered her home and went into her room while she was sleeping,
Damn.
and he held a pillow over her face until she started struggling. And then when he took it off of her face, he tried to make out with her.
What the hell?
Yeah, he's pretty shitty. Yeah, it's a pretty abusive relationship. She was terrified about him and his friends, so she did, like, he knew she wouldn't call the cops on her for that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. As often is the case, like it's tough to get away from someone, like who is your abuser. Um, so he's like worming his way back in. Like, I don't know. It's tough. I do try to put myself in her shoes, but like that would be so scary. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough
Yeah.
to know.
Well,
Like,
because I mean, from what it sounded like, at least, their relationship wasn't bad. Like when they were together, it's now that they've broken up that
mm,
this sounds like it's
yeah,
happening. So I can see the thought processes of, okay, well, if we just get back together, like this will stop, which now at this point that it started, it most likely won't. But
right. But that is a very, yeah, common cycle for, and
yeah.
it is the most like dangerous time, they say, when you're trying to get out of the relationship. So maybe she
Yeah.
just figures, yeah, easier to get back in. Um, so he's still hanging around. She's filming her first film for her own production company, which is the production company is called Lantern.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, it's like, so that was pretty cool. I think she's probably pretty proud of that. And the film was called Another Place, Another Time with Sean Connery.
Oh,
Um, the costume designer on the set, God, I don't know if it's pronounced Moss, because that's how their first name is spelled. Moss Mabry? The names,
I have no idea.
they're wild. This is the costume designer, and they recall how Johnny would hang around and how utterly charming and likable he was. Um, and how big of a ladies' man, because he was also sleeping with her seamstress. So the seamstress on the film set was also sleeping with Johnny. And or Moss suspects that he was using her as a sort of sugar mama because she had like quite a big nest egg of money that she
Ah,
inherited or something. I don't know. So it's complicated, to say the least.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you probably think you can see where it's going, but we'll see. um, Lana tries to break off the relationship, but is unsuccessful. But she also like wouldn't go anywhere in public with him, like not even to the coffee shop, which really pissed him off. She
I
didn't
mean,
want to
hey,
tarnish
it'd
her
be like,
image,
well, you wanted us back together, so this is what you get.
right? Like, oh gee, I don't want to associate with someone who's a criminal. Yeah.
Yeah,
He did buy her a black poodle for a present, and she named it Gypsy. Um,
cute.
yeah. Buys her a dog. Jeez. They got a house in a place called Hampstead Heath. He would also just ask her for money, I guess. He'd be like, I need $1,000 to option a story called The Battered Bride. Which gross.
Oh no.
Right? And she's
Okay,
like,
Gordo,
you
stop
already
him
have a
around.
weekly allowance.
He
Loser.
has an allowance. That's my
Yeah.
favorite. I'm like, no, honey, do some more chores.
Right? Go buy yourself something pretty.
Don't spend it all in one place.
Yeah. He's like, no, I want to be a star. Um, yeah, so I think that probably pisses him off. Yeah, he couldn't deal with the
Well,
fact
he
that
could
she was
get a fucking job.
successful. Oh, I
Like,
know.
what's he
He's got his
doing?
little
What's he
um
bringing to the table? Like,
his what is it? His pawn shop or his whatever it was, his gift shop. I can't remember.
his Pawn
Ugh,
Stars.
yeah. um But yeah, he would get so mad at her that like one time he strangled her so badly that her vocal cords ended up damaged. And
Jesus.
that, yeah, like that
Yeah.
caused her to have to avoid dialogue scenes for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was like disruptive to actual production. So when that happened, I guess they were still filming in England, so they told Scotland Yard that Johnny had threatened her life and he was deported from England within 24 hours.
Okay.
So they got him out of there. Fuck off.
Now she just has to stay in England.
Yeah, right. Stay in England. Um, but by January 1958, filming had finished on that project. So she either had to stay there, go home, or figure out what she was going to do. Um, there's a nervous wreck at the time. She decides a vacation might be a nice way to unwind. So she plans a trip to Mexico. However, on her way to Acapulco, on her connection in Copenhagen, she sees Johnny waiting on the tarmac.
Well, that's
So
creepy.
he figuratively hijacks her vacation. He gets there and he goes with
Yeah.
her. They go to a place called Villa Vera, and the owner remembers she seemed like uncomfortable the whole time and like she wanted to talk to the owner alone. So the trip is cut short. She goes back to LA. She's looking for a house to rent. Of course, Johnny's inserting himself into the process and complaining about the houses he doesn't like. Um, I know. What a
It's
guy.
not for you.
Right. She finds a place in Beverly Hills and settles on that one. And then she's nominated for an Oscar for Peyton Place. So that's cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Johnny wants to go to the awards ceremony with her. What do you think she
Oh,
says?
no.
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 That's a big no. She decides to take her mom, her daughter, and her friend Glenn.
Oh,
She's
no.
she won't even take you to the coffee store, buddy.
Yeah, she won't even take you to go get coffee. You want to go to the fucking Oscars? Oh, no.
Figure it out. So he's obviously mad, furious. He's glaring at her. She's getting all dolled up in her gown. And gets to the event okay and all that. She's attending, looking fabulous. I don't know what she was wearing. You'd think they would have had that in there. But she did lose to Joanne Woodward for her role in The Three Faces of Eve. So, wah,
I
wah.
don't know who that is either.
Right? She got home to face. Did I say his last name was Stompanato?
Oh, I think at the beginning.
Yeah. It was like, I just can't just start referring to him as that and then be all confusing. Anyway, it's long, so mostly I just called him Johnny because it was easier to type that, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So he's pissed. He grows violent and is yelling at her. Um, but whatever, they get over that day, and not long after that, Lana's able to move into her new abode in the hills on North Bedford Drive. So she takes possession on April 1st.
Nice.
3 days later, it's a rainy Good Friday. Like Good Friday, because it's April. And that's the day that everything's gonna go down here. So
Yeah. As soon as you throw in a specific date, you're always like, oh, this is the day.
yeah. I'm like
On
1958, 1950 this.
Yeah, and then you're like, on this specific day at 2 p.m. And you're like, oh
Nothing
shit.
unusual happened at all.
Yeah. The end.
Oh my
Goodbye.
God. So a quote from one of her entourage there. The day was real gloomy, Del Armstrong remembers. He dropped by the Bedford mansion for a drink with Bill Brooks, who we'd met in Hawaii when Lana was doing the John Wayne movie, The Sea Chase. John Wayne.
John Wayne.
I know, right? Just name
We're
dropping.
my mom's side of the family, well, not related by blood, but through marriage to John Wayne. So
Ooh.
yeah.
He's
I
a
can't remember how.
relative
My mom knows.
partner.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she's always been obsessed with John Wayne.
Nice. So we were sitting around drinking gin and tonics and shooting the breeze when Johnny walked in. He was very civil to me, and he didn't have to be, but I had never been intimidated by him, and I guess he knew that. Anyhow, Bill gives him the glad hello. They obviously knew each other. Johnny gets uncomfortable. Then Bill announces they'd gone to military school together in Missouri. I could tell Lana seemed surprised, Armstrong adds. Johnny makes some kind of excuse, then leaves. Then Lana asks Bill, when did you go to school with John? And he says, we graduated in 1943. And Lana says, I thought Johnny was 43 years old. Bill says, hell no, he's my age, 33. Then he warns Lana,
Oh.
that Johnny is no good, bad news. He got into terrible trouble at school stealing. Lana is fit to be tied. End quote. Yeah, he lied about his name.
Never heard about somebody like lying you're 10 years older?
Older! Because she is like 37 now, so he's lying to be closer to her age, I guess. But right? Weird.
Yeah.
Back
Normally
then,
people are like trying to pretend to be younger, or
oh yeah.
I guess there was that one true crime case about that one lady who was pretending to be like a senior citizen. That boarding house that she was running. So I mean,
those are so weird. Yeah.
Can't always pretend that they're pretending to be younger, but
It's
more often
that's
than
usually
not.
the trope. It's a woman lying about her age. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I would be surprised too to be like, oh, this guy is like 10 years older. But then I'm like, why did everybody look like they were in their 40s like years ago? Like, I don't know. It's weird.
Times were hard.
Even in the 80s, you're like, that's a teenager? No, she's supposed to be 20.
He's got full facial hair, like.
Oh, the heavy makeup. Oh my god, the lip liner. Ugh. Anyway.
Yeah.
So this obviously was upsetting to hear about another lie. And for Lana, it was the final straw. She was like, dude's 33, I'm 37. No, she's like, thought he was at least my age. And he's lied to me again.
He
and
barely
all this
has it. Barely has a job. I have to give him an allowance. Like, get out of here.
I already have a child. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was crying to Cheryl, that telling her he's lied again about something else. I'm going to get rid of him tonight. Her friends do invite her out to dinner, but she declines. By 8:30 p.m., and at the door, right on time, here's Johnny. Okay. I'll see myself out. No. Cheryl was home now and recalls how Johnny seethed. He was screaming things like, "You're not going to get rid of me so easy, Miss Movie Star." And Lana says she doesn't want to fight in front of the baby, so she goes to get a drink. Then they end up back upstairs in her pink carpeted bedroom, because it was important they told us about the pink carpets.
Yeah,
And
nothing about the rest of the house other than the fact that it's pink carpeted bedroom.
yeah. They might have put that in the opening paragraph where they're like, she was wearing black pedal pushers and a white blouse. And I was like, ooh, pedal pushers. I remember we used to call them that. So she's locked herself in the room to get away from Johnny, and then he's banging on the door, and like they're gonna let him in and argue some more very loudly. So Cheryl knocks on the door and asks to come in, and then she speaks to her mother quietly near the door while Johnny leans against a wall several feet away. She asks Lana, "Why don't you just tell him to go?" And she calls her a coward, but she's like 14, so we'll let it go. Yeah. Lana tells her daughter, "You don't understand, I'm deathly afraid of him." To which Cheryl replies, "Don't worry, I won't leave you. I won't be far away." This seemed to give Lana some courage, and she went back into the fray, closing Cheryl outside the door and continuing to argue. So Cheryl's listening and it's getting more and more heated. Johnny's calling her names and threatening her that she'll never get rid of him, etc., etc. She'd be like, "All right, I had enough," and he'd be like, "Cunt, you're dead," because he's such a nice guy. Then
that's
Cheryl
when I'd
hears...
be like, "Hey, police! My boyfriend's part of the mob. Why don't you come get him?" Like,
right.
Fuck you.
I'm gonna call Mickey. No.
He's an informant. He
Ooh.
then tell his mob buddies that he's actually an informant, and then you tell the police that he's part of the mob, and then
yeah, that could work.
You get yourself out of there and you move back to England.
Oh, jolly old England. She had it good there. Get Scotland Yard again. Yeah. But no, then Cheryl hears something that really scares her. She hears Johnny say, "You'll never get away from me. Wherever you go, I'll find you. I'll cut you good, baby. You'll never work again. And don't think I also won't get your mother and your kid, too."
Jeez.
So Cheryl was like
she's
scared.
not supporting them financially.
Yeah. Like, ugh.
Gonna cut your face so she can never work again? Well, fucking you get a job then.
I know, it's like literally out of a fucking movie itself. I'm like, "Cut you good, baby." I was like, Jesus Christ. Ugh.
Yeah.
So that was very scary for Cheryl to hear. So she panics and grabs a knife from the kitchen and races upstairs to the bedroom.
Okay.
She
yeah.
opens the door and sees Lana standing there crying, and Johnny is behind her, and she sees that his arm seems to be raised in the air. So Cheryl stumbled forward with the knife in her hand, which plunged into Johnny's torso. Cheryl would later retell the story in her book, Detour, a Hollywood Story, co-written by Cliff Jar. I don't know why I put that there. Oh, well, because there's 3 different versions. They said there was 3 different versions of what happened that day. There was her book,
okay.
Lana's book, and the what is it called? The coroner's. You know. Yeah.
Okay.
Lana
I'm going to be believing of the coroner, most likely, then.
Yeah. Oh, it's... yeah. Yeah.
Is it a situation of he tripped and fell on the knife 17 times?
Yeah. And I don't really have exactly like what they just alluded to the coroner's report. I don't really have any parts of it, but we'll get to some details, of course. Lana would tell her version in a book that was called Luna, The Lady, the Legend, and the Truth, which came out in 1982. She'd just be
Hmm.
calling herself all sorts of things. Luna,
I know. It
Lanita.
was like, that's a totally different name.
I know. I thought maybe it was a typo, but no. We all need to have 16 different nicknames for our
Yeah, why
different
not?
moods. Ugh. So, yeah, and she would be called upon in court to testify on it. But from what we know, the knife went in and hit his vital organ. It went through the
Good.
liver and punctures the portal vein and the aorta.
Nice
Whew.
shot.
Yeah, I guess. And he just goes, "My God, Cheryl, what have you done?" Before collapsing onto the floor.
And she goes, I stabbed you. I hope you die.
Oh, God.
I have no sympathy for him.
No, it's, yeah. I mean, yeah, he's not great. Lana does not know what has happened at first. She said she didn't notice any blood and, thought maybe she punched him, whatever. But when he falls onto his side, she freaks out and is like, "Get a towel!" Such a funny, it's the first thing you think of. I don't know.
Yeah,
She
weird.
yeah, she throws the knife in the wash basin, grabs some towels, and run back to Johnny's side, where she tries to staunch the blood on the wound, and she calls her mother in a panic. So she tells her mother to call Dr. Mack. She couldn't even think of his number in her panic. The 911's not a thing yet, of course. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, not calling the police.
I know. I mean, at least we're getting a doctor. But yeah. Cheryl, meanwhile, has picked up another phone and calling her dad, who works nearby at his restaurant called the Luau, if you would like to know what the restaurant's name was.
Sure.
Meanwhile, Lana gets her mother, Mildred, yes, to call the doctor. She's saying it's an emergency. Mildred's calling the doctor, and Stephen shows up at the house, Cheryl's father. Ray gets himself in up the stairs, and he goes, "Oh my God." And Lana's like, didn't even see him. She's like, "Why are you here, Stephen?" And she's like kind of trying to block what's going on. And the next thing they know, we hear Mildred Turner is running up the stairs, freaking out, saying, "Where's my baby? Where's my baby?" Everybody's
Yeah.
converging.
It's a whole family.
Yeah, Cheryl's dad is like comforting her, and she's just saying sorry over and over again. Dr. Mack shows up and takes charge. He checks the patient first and calls another doctor too. And then he gives Johnny a shot of adrenaline, attempting to revive him. So, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, medicine in the 50s.
Right? Then he gave him a bump of cocaine. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Do some cocaine about it.
He tells just. Oh, then he's explaining to a distraught Lana to dial 0 to order an ambulance through the operator. I'm like, oh, finally, somebody knows how to do it. Checking him for a pulse and not looking very happy, he tells Lana to call Jerry Geisler, who was the most powerful attorney in Hollywood at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. He has represented the likes of Charlie Chaplin and Bugsy Siegel. That's insane. I don't know what Charlie Chaplin did. I was scared to look it up. I'm scared.
He underage stuff. He had an underage wife that got pregnant that he married while she was underage, and parents had to give him guardianship over or something because she was too young to give consent to get married to him, I think. So Yeah, her
Yeah.
parents like basically signed over guardianship to him, and then he married her just before she gave birth or something.
Ew.
Happened a
God.
few times. Not great. Yeah. Not
Liked him
good.
young. Okay.
Yeah.
Gross.
His movies are good though. I watched a bunch of them during COVID. And they all got added to, I think it was Netflix added a whole bunch of them. I started watching them and I
did
was like,
they?
I heard something about him one time, and I googled and I was like, oh shit.
Plus,
Like,
he
oh
rocks
great.
that Hitler stash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his character, the
Oh
what
yeah.
was he? A
The tramp or
vagrant or
something.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah, the tramp. I think it was. Yeah.
All right. Oh, we are back.
We're back, back, back.
I know. I don't think.
Gordo's back.
Oh, guess who's cat? Cat again.
Gordo's back. Na 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 na.
Ooh, pardon me. Okay. I'm going to try to wrap this up without leaving out any of the juicy bits.
Ooh, okay.
Well, obviously it was the scandal of like the decade. I don't know. So the ambulance has been called. Stephen Crane has to, I guess, with help, push 4 cars out of the driveway so they could get the ambulance up the drive, and none of them had keys in them, so they were
What?
pushing the cars.
Oh
It's
my god.
um, in fact, a quote from one of her entourage there, Glenn Rose, said that it was like a circus. By the end of the day, entire families were crammed into their cars, ogling, and is it ogling or ogling? Whatever. And there were people literally hanging from the trees with binoculars. For weeks, there was a constant traffic jam. The public just couldn't get enough of all the gory details, and I was frankly fascinated too. It had all the ingredients of a sordid detective thriller. I mean, the gangster and the movie star. What could be better than that?
Yeah.
I heard even Gordo had something to say about it. He was.
He keeps rubbing his face on the mic, and I keep having to move it further away from him.
He's like, it's fuzzy. It's not really, but
Yeah. It's something I can rub my face on. Make it smell like me.
rub your face on the F-bomb. They talked about this guy named James Bacon, who was a correspondent for the Associated Press, and he just tagged along with the cops and told them he was an assistant to the coroner to get into the house, which was
Oh
pretty
my
fucking ballsy,
god.
right?
Yeah. Damn.
He was 84 at the time of the article, and he recalled how he just moved right along with the cops and said that he'd done a lot of interviews with Lana Turner ever since she made Honky Tonk with Clark Gable back in 41.
Okay.
And he walked right in. Yep. What the fuck?
Damn.
There was a detective, Fred Otosh, also there, and Geisler had arrived, a lawyer, the big shot lawyer. Ba, 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 ba. And oh yeah, here we go. We've got another key player, Chief Clinton Anderson.
Oh no.
I know. We've got Alana, now we got Anderson. It's S-O-N though.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's there at 10:50. So yeah, later on in the evening. And he's chief of the Beverly Hills Police. And he knew about the Turners. He had gotten a call from Mildred, the mother of Lana, a week prior because she was concerned about Johnny, and Lana and getting beaten.
Well, that's good, because at least that shows, like, history,
Fire.
right?
A little bit, except they had declined to file a report as he advised.
Okay.
I know. We're so
It's nice
close.
that he
Yeah.
recommended that and wasn't
Yeah.
the one telling them not to, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it seems like he was taking it seriously. And the police were aware of Johnny Stompanato, aka Johnny Steele, aka John Valentine, when he's at home.
What?
I don't know. I guess that was another one of his aliases. Oh my god.
Valentine, Steele, Stompanato. Those are 3 crazy different names.
I know. I think Stompanado's great. Why do you have to change that? If that's your real born one, like,
It's too mob
name.
sounding now that
It is very Italian to me, yeah.
and then the other 2
Stomp
sound like
you out.
porn names.
Yeah, so true.
Steele and Valentine.
Oh my god, Valentine. Yeah, or a villain, because then you had Valentine Morgenstern in the Shadowhunters.
Shadowhunters. Yeah.
Oh god. So, yeah, they knew him. He had been in trouble with the law. He'd been arrested at least twice. Oh, like Lana, he's been married 3 times already. So I'm sure he would have got up to her number. Maybe. Yeah. He had a 10-year-old son from a previous relationship who was called Johnny the Third. Poor Johnny. Oh, and yes, I'm sorry. What he did for his ventures, he had owned a furniture store, a pet shop, and sold cars on the side. So he just did random whatevers. Yeah.
Like probably stolen cars then.
Oh, yeah. And he slept with many, many women. And one starlet and actress said that he was known in Hollywood as a great lover with a big dong. So I think that explains a lot right there.
But it couldn't make up for his shit personality.
Ugh, I know. Couldn't you just be like, decent?
Yeah, like it's
Anyway.
not that hard. Just, oh my god.
Don't suck.
Yeah. Don't be an asshole.
Oh god.
He could have been set for life. You know what? He could have just made her happy and not lied about shit or told her the truth, and she probably would have been fine with it.
I know, but she honestly didn't sound like she had a super high bar. Like, don't abuse me or my child. Or
yeah, because it sounded like
drunk.
things were like okay before.
I know. It did seem like it didn't come out until later when she tried to break
which is unusual. I don't think I've heard that before. Or maybe it just didn't last long enough that it progressed like it typically does.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes you'd hear about it when the relationship moves into the next stage, like marriage. Then all of a sudden they'll reveal their awfulness. Oh yeah, then Chief Anderson notices that this James Bacon guy is not part of the coroner's office. He knows he's a reporter. And according to Bacon, he blew his stack. Oh, and not only that, when he spotted the other 2 guys there, the lawyer and who was the other guy? Detective? Somebody? Geisler and Otash, he practically goes ape. The fact that the press, a private eye, and the attorney Gessler were at the murder site before he was really upset him. You don't say.
Well, can upset you all you want, but that's the order you guys were called in, so.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy how the word gets out so fast. So he kicks the reporter guy out and he interviews Cheryl, getting her version of events. And, taking into account, I guess, she had a little bit of a troubled past as well, running away from her boarding school, living with grandma.
How old is she now?
14.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's still so young.
Mm-hmm. It's rough. Yeah. It's a traumatic one, I'm sure. yeah, it's a lot. So, where was I? Oh yeah, Cheryl was just repeatedly saying, "I'm so sorry, Chief. I didn't mean to do it. Johnny said he was going to hurt Mother." And so that's very sad. But like he's like, okay, their stories are adding up, and the mom's saying the same
Yeah.
thing. Da, da, da. Oh, they were just making a press statement. Sorry, I don't know if I need this. Yeah, after the press left, Geisler joined Cheryl as she gave a statement to the police, which was in part, he was threatening Mother to kill her and to hurt Daddy, Granny, and me. So I rushed into the room and struck him with the knife. Struck him. Yeah, so they're like, okay. And Lana's like, I'm terrified of him. Like, he's violent.
Yeah.
All this, of course, is brought up.
He has ties with the mob.
Oh, yeah. There's that. Yeah, and they know him. Like, the police are aware of who he is. But, like, I don't know. He hasn't been in, like, a lot of real trouble, but whatever.
I was gonna say, I guess murder is still murder.
Yeah. It's something already. It's manslaughter, at least. They're taken down to the police station. Paparazzi are everywhere. And the attorney is trying to get ahead of it. He's telling them that it was justifiable homicide with no cause for a trial.
I think what he should have been saying is no comment. It's your attorney.
Blah, 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 blah. And one sad detail was only later would Cheryl even realize that Johnny was holding his arm up because he was holding a suit jacket on a hanger. He wasn't going to strike like Lana at the time.
Oh, well, they had still been arguing, and he had just threatened them, so it doesn't really matter whether or not he's holding a weapon. Yeah,
exactly. Like she was in a lot of danger in that relationship many times. Yeah. So yeah, they give their statement and all that. But yeah, definitely that would haunt Cheryl a little bit, because she would later write, "Would I have raised the knife if John's arm hadn't been raised? I don't know. I believe that in my fright I jabbed at him with the knife out of a split-second impulse to scare him. I knew little of knives. Indeed, the autopsy revealed that the blade had been inserted upside down, that is, sharp side up."
You don't know how to use a knife at 14? I'm sorry. It's a little weird. I knew little of knives. Do you not eat food? It's the most bizarre statement ever. I knew little of knives.
I just never even thought of it that way. I was just like, she probably means she was very, confused and panicked and scared and doesn't remember well, but I don't know.
Do you not butter toast? Do you not cut meat? Like, I know little of knives.
Right?
We have servants. I don't cut my food.
No. Do you think maybe she can't even chop anything at the time?
This was such a weird statement to make. I knew little of knives.
I love the old time way they speak too. Would I have struck him? Yeah. So they go to take her into a cell, and Lana's like freaking out, like, "Oh no, I want my baby with me." And she
14.
chases down the hallway. Yeah, that'd be scary. So she like yells at them to open the door, and they're like, "Okay," because they just like slammed her behind bars, I guess. And it was very traumatic for both mother and daughter, by the sounds of it. So yeah, they let her in to comfort her a little bit, but then they're like, "Okay, you're going to be booked overnight on a holding charge on suspicion of murder. Mama's got to go home." So she gets home just as they're wheeling Johnny's body out under a sheet. So
yay!
That was
dead.
Lana was very traumatized. She's like wailing uncontrollably, and they're rushing her into the house and hiding her from the paparazzi. And then she's there with her. Oh yeah, Dell Armstrong. That's her makeup artist, and then her Glenn Rose, her press agent. And meanwhile, back at the coroner office, they call good old Mickey Cohen to come identify Johnny's body. And
Of all the people, just call the mob boss. Hey, we can't arrest you for anything because we probably don't know where you are, but hey, you want to come identify your bodyguard's body?
Hey, we know you know this guy.
Yeah, that's so hilarious to me.
Yeah, that is ironic. He was his bodyguard, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like there crying and whatever. And he's gonna make arrangements to have Johnny buried in Woodstock and for his brother to come get him. I don't know. Maybe I'm embellishing. I don't remember anymore. Tears are silently streaming down his face, Kelsey. And he's like, I don't like it. It's fishy. He says, there's a lot of unanswered questions about how Johnny was killed. I'm going to find some of those answers no matter what happens.
Yeah, the 14-year-old stabbed him with an upside-down knife. That's what
happened. But he don't believe that. He also said, Johnny's been around for a long time, but what if they tell me it's true? He made no effort to dodge the knife. It just doesn't gel with me. When I heard how Johnny was killed, cold chills went through me. It's a fantastic way for a man like Stompanato to die. Oh, these quotes are just so good.
Yeah, they're so like bizarre.
And we're all speaking with our transatlantic accent. It's the 30s. Or no, it's the 50s now. Whatever. I just eat it up. So this made me a little sad. Johnny had pictures of Lana in his pockets, like loving little notes on them, and a lock of her hair when he died. On his wrist was an ID bracelet engraved with the following phrase in Spanish: Daddy John, my sweet love, this recalls a piece of my heart which will be with you always. And remember, Guido, my life for you for all time, Lanita.
Weird.
I mean, yeah, whatever. They seem to really love each other, but they really had a bad relationship.
Yeah.
Too intense. So, yeah, they are all supporting Lana, and her team is like, come to my house, you can't sleep here. Like, everything's stressful, and there's paparazzis everywhere. Everybody lawyers up. Stephen Crane gets a lawyer. I don't know why he gets a lawyer. He gets a lawyer named Arthur Crowley, just so I could say Crowley.
Oh,
and just
yeah.
Mr. Crowley, whose former clients included the scandal magazine Confidential. And Geisler repped Cheryl, and Lana got a lawyer named Louis Blau. Cheryl was taken to juvenile hall after attempts to release her to her grandmother failed. Pardon me. The customary procedure was to hold the suspect for 72 hours, and the DA was not going to budge on that one, not even for the daughter of a celebrity.
Yeah.
And then when they let Lana come visit her daughter, her team pulling up in her twin Cadillacs really made the other parents mad as they're waiting in line in the rain outside the facility.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, then they're trying to avoid, accusations of special treatment. But yeah, that's not gonna happen, right?
You can't help what you drive, though. So
yeah. And yeah, Cheryl's having a rough time of it. Some woman just accosted her in the day room and saying, "Your mom killed him, didn't she?" Until Cheryl was screaming back at her, "I did it, I did it, I did it," out of frustration and fear.
Weird.
Yeah. Lana was supposed to remain in seclusion until the inquest, so she was not allowed to see anything the papers were saying about her or anything, which included the love letters that were being printed between her and Johnny. Her personal letters.
Oh, I hate that kind of stuff.
Yeah. She really liked to call him daddy. Say, I'm your woman.
But now he's younger than her.
You're my boy.
You're my boy and I'm your mama.
It was likely that it was Mickey Cohen who leaked them. He insisted he got them prior to Johnny's death, and then he gave them to the LA Herald and the Express. Yeah. And he claimed he was trying to show Johnny's good side and that they did love each other. I guess. But like, as embarrassed as it might have made her, it like actually made the public seem to like her even more, because they were like, oh my god, she's kind of a hopeless romantic. I don't know. So yeah, Carmen, Johnny's brother, came to claim his body. The family's skeptical of the story. They want Lana to take a polygraph. They think maybe she shot him when they were in bed together, and that's maybe why it was easier to get the drop on him.
Oh. And then they stabbed him? Is that what they're trying to say? They shot him and then stabbed him or something?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they just don't have all the information yet. Because yeah, he was only stabbed. There was no gunshots. Oh yeah, that's where my notes got out. Confusing. Yeah, there was some weird stuff about them looking for a box of Johnny's stuff that had his gun and a wedding band and a wedding brand with the cryptic engraving, "From here to eternity, Rosemary and John," which I was like, is that cryptic? Was one of his wives named Rosemary? Because I think he was married like 3 times. I don't know. But they also found rolls and rolls of negatives of nude, quote, well-known women in very compromising positions, end quote.
Oh, that's gross.
I know. And some nudes of Lana turned up, but then she and the lawyer burned them. On April 8th, they have the funeral for Johnny, and he's buried with full military honors because he was an ex-Marine. Yeah, so a lot of them seem to have a problem with being like, how could a 14-year-old kill an ex-Marine? And like, the cops like, basically surprise an accident. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
yeah. Not expecting a 14-year-old to come running in the room with a knife.
Yeah, like, ugh. I mean, nobody ever fought him back, really.
Exactly. I was gonna say he's like, seems to be the aggressor in most situations, so you don't expect somebody, let alone a kid, to come after you.
Yeah, take matters into her own hands. Yeah, the family was definitely like skeptical. His stepmother said they're not vindictive people, but they felt their son had been slandered, like that the couple was planning to get married, which I was like, really? Okay. Sure. And yeah, they're just having a hard time believing it, I think. I don't know. I believe a lot of it's rooted in grief and stuff like that. But
yeah.
The stepmother said, they're saying things that couldn't be possible. I don't believe the real truth is known. Any cold-blooded murder should be investigated. I don't believe there is such a thing as justifiable homicide. Which, it's like, well, there's something called self-defense, and
yeah, until it happens to you, I don't think you can have an opinion.
Yeah. Back at the fort, back at the house, Della Armstrong is holding down the fort. I read too far in my next sentence. An industry vet who started his makeup career on The Wizard of Oz, he was up to this arduous task, which included fielding calls from visitors like Lana's ex-lover, Frank Sinatra. Ever heard of him? No. Oh my god, like where's the rest of the Rat Pack? uh yeah, I guess he was kind of like her wingman for that whole affair with Frank Sinatra. I don't know. And Armstrong once said she had too short of a concentration span when it came to men, moving on from them when she became bored. I was like, okay. Um, so yeah, the press is having a field day. They're implying all sorts of things like that
Oh yeah.
Johnny is Lana and Cheryl's was in love with him, and who knows, all sorts of bullshit. They're saying Lana's on trial for her loose morals. All the terrible things they say about women when something happens.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
always
well,
so
like,
annoying.
right. It's like, well, that's just a time to break her character. Yeah. Um, I liked what Del Armstrong said about the inquest day, where he said he couldn't be there. He was working on another film, but he said, I know she was prepared. Geisler had coached her for hours. It was the most important performance of her life.
So yeah.
Fans lined up to support and catch a glimpse of Lana Turner as she arrived. And this, I liked this quote where the way they started off with the word severely reminded me of you. What time you said
Why?
one of my families looked severely related. The families I was talking about. And I was like, I love the way she
Really?
uses that word. She just peppers it in.
I don't remember this.
Oh, I don't know. It was a while ago. They said she came in severely elegant in a gray silk Italian suit with her hair cropped mannishly short and entered the Hall of Records building in downtown LA and go up to the 8th floor courtroom on the arm of Jerry Geisler.
I don't
Kind
like
of not.
mannishly short.
I know, right? They're being kind of mean. And that was the Vanity Fair article. Um, so thankfully, Cheryl was excused from testifying due to her age and stuff. So they just read her statement. Um, Mickey Cohen was called and asked if he had identified the body of Johnny Stompanato. He responded, I refuse to identify him as John Stompanato Jr. for the reason that I may be accused of this murder.
What?
They hastily excused him. Drama queen.
That makes no sense.
I know! What are you talking about?
You're literally the daughter saying I did it. Like, why would they accuse
You're there. Yeah, you're here to say you identified his body because you knew him.
Mr.
Oh
Mob
my
Boss?
god. They're trying to lock me up. So Chief Anderson
Wow.
confirmed the identification. Then at 10 a.m., Lana's called to testify. On the stand, she spoke softly and deliberately, clutching the white glove in her hand and taking occasional sips of water. One quote from Lana, I said, don't you ever touch me again. I'm absolutely finished. This is the end, and I want you to get out. And after I said that, I was walking toward the bedroom door, and he was right behind me, and I opened it, and my daughter came in. I truthfully thought she had hit him in the stomach. As best as I can remember, they came together, and they parted. I still never saw a blade.
Hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, then she, of course, told about their relationship and how volatile it was. She said it was a humiliating ordeal that she had to explain on the witness stand what I barely understood myself, to confess before the cameras that strange helplessness that bound me to John for so long.
Yeah, I mean, she's still like
Yeah.
coming to terms with like the
Yeah.
abusive relationship, let alone a murder that her
Yeah.
daughter is being charged with. Like,
And it's still the death of someone she loved, even if it wasn't a healthy love. It's like so many feelings. And still they're like making fun of her any chance they can. There's a brief recess and she's feeling overwhelmed and faint. She's holding on to Jerry Geisler for support, so they're walking out arm in arm when he stumbles and she asks, who's helping who here? Which was like, I love her. But then one witness was heard to scoff at her theatrics, saying, like, what an act she's putting on.
Wow.
Yeah. She just can't win.
Yeah.
More witnesses are called, details are given, such as there were no identifiable prints on the knife. Weird. No blood or next to no blood in the bedroom except for several dime-sized drops near the spot of death. And yeah, that was kind of odd.
Yeah.
The medical examiner was one of the last to testify. He explained how the wound was a fatal one and added that during the autopsy, they discovered Johnny was very sick. He had had an incurable kidney disease and likely had less than 10 years left to live. So, there's a twist.
Oh well.
Which I kind of was like, wow, okay. So, oh yeah, at the conclusion of the inquest, a Stompanato supporter stood up and yelled, "Lies, lies, all lies! This mother and daughter were both in love with Stompanato. He was better than any of us. He was a gentleman."
I'm sorry, no.
I can't. I'm sure he was hot. I'll give you that. Like, whatever.
Like, are you in love with him too? Like, he was a gentleman.
Oh my god. Yeah, honestly, I didn't look up many pictures, which is weird for me. There was too many husbands. I'll have to put them all on Instagram or something.
Can't be looking up all the husbands.
Right. Oh, okay. We are okay. 30. All right. The LA Times ran a scathing editorial chastising Turner for her self-indulgences and saying Cheryl was not the juvenile delinquent that Lana was. Just so gross. They were like, this was Life magazine, actually. I expected better from you. They printed pictures of Turner's trial scenes in movies like The Postman Always Rings Twice and Peyton Place. And they used the opportunity to make unfair comparisons of her to her on-screen personas.
Oh my god. If somebody's not involved in writing the script or being the director or anything, then you can't draw parallels between characters and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, right. Like, they shouldn't even have to stretch that hard, because if she makes more movies like that other one that was about an actress and her emotional daughter or whatever. Oh, it's terrible. So later that month, April 24th, Cheryl's made ward of the court temporarily, sent to live with her grandma Mildred, with visits from mom and dad. And then a wrongful death suit was filed by the Stompanato family with charges of parental negligence and false allegations, saying that alleged Lana incited her to inflict the wound, something like that. So she's fighting civil lawsuit and scandals and all that stuff.
Weird.
Yeah, and then oh yeah, so speaking of the movies that mirrored her life, later that year in the summer of 1958, producer Ross Hunter got Lana to agree to star in a remake of Imitation of Life, a movie based on a Fannie Hurst novel, which has a plot that deals with a selfish star who spoils her daughter rotten. And apparently it fueled more horrible rumors of sexual assault and bullshit. It's like, why are you taking these roles that are so too soon? Oh, because it was a box office hit and made a bunch of money. That's probably why. Cheryl spends 11 months in a reform school. She then gets to live with her mom again. The civil suit by Johnny's family was still going on. But Lana believed if it went to trial, she could win. But she was still more concerned about protecting her daughter's well-being after all this. So they settled out of court for $20,000. That's just a month's work for her.
Yeah, 4 weeks. She's like, sure.
I hadn't done the math before. So the money went to his son, Johnny Jr., Johnny the Third.
He probably changed his name.
Right. I am. Johnny Nobody. Cheryl struggled to come to terms with the trauma, running away 4 more times in the following decade. She then spent time at the Institute for Living Sanatorium, where there she found a friend with a fellow patient named Jonathan Winters, and he helped her work through some of her issues. Excuse me. Finally, Lana, for her part, married a man named Fred May. Oh my god, I wrote a racehorse. I think I meant a racehorse dealer. Whoops. Got half of his job in there.
She married a horse.
BoJack Horseman. Whoa, I did not see
He
that
was
coming.
finally happy. Yeah.
Oh my god. A centaur.
A racehorse.
Don't worry, that one didn't last long. Then she married a guy named Robert Eaton.
No. Sorry, I can't keep up anymore. I'm getting husband marriage divorce whiplash.
This is husband number 6, who taught her the
Okay.
real fulfilling pleasure in sex. So I think that was a good one. But
What?
you don't have to marry them all.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, the 6th one taught her that? That's so sad. I feel bad for her life.
Oh, well, she did have time. I think a few of them were good lays. Finally, her 7th husband was Ronald Dante, a nightclub hypnotist.
No.
Can't even get it out. It's too ridiculous.
She's like a millionaire. Why are you marrying a nightclub hypnotist? What does that even mean? I don't know what that means.
He hypnotized her. I don't know. No, he was a thief. He was looking for her money. And he
Oh my
stole
god.
a bunch of jewelry and stuff.
Yeah, because he's a fucking nightclub hypnotist. What even is that?
I'm a nightclub hypnotist and it's 1969, baby. Oh my god. Don't worry. She finds her someone.
8?
I'm
Number
almost done.
8?
What? No,
Number 8?
no, she does. That is her last husband. She does not get married again.
No. Okay.
She has a weird longtime secretary named Taylor Perrow who kind of isolated her and kept her away from some of her other friends, which was kind of weird. But then she met young, hot Eric Root, who was her hair guy. And then he became her bodyguard and her escort too. She's like, I don't need to marry this one. He can just be my sex slave. No. Oh, I'm sorry. And he actually was really good for her. He had an argument with that Perro guy who wasn't good for her, and he quit. And then Eric also got her to lay off the booze, so that was good. And they spent the next 14 years traveling the world and having fun. And then in a shocking twist, in April of 1985, Eric Root dropped a bomb. He said that Lana admitted to being the real killer. Dun, dun, dun. What? I know, right? Take it with a grain of salt. He wrote it in his memoir. I don't know. Deathbed confession. No. He said that he figured it out. Wait, what did he say? He said, with help from Ray Strait, who wrote Detective Fred Otash's biography, which who could even remember who that is at this point? He was the private eye. He says they pieced together the real events. That Jerry G and Otash colluded to make Cheryl take the blame. That they wiped the prints off the knife and came up with the story. But Lana never replied to those allegations, as far as I know.
Sorry, I have a full Gordo.
Gordo, you are loving it.
It's on the other side of the mic.
He's like, are you guys fucking done yet? Almost. I'm on the last page now, I swear to you.
I know, my laptop's gonna die.
No!
I didn't plug it in. I'm only at 22%.
Jesus. You are living on the edge.
I know, it's gonna
So
start giving me warnings.
Cheryl helped her father run his Kontiki restaurant chain, where they made millions, then sold them in 1978. She also worked as a real estate agent in Hawaii and San Francisco. She lived with her longtime companion, Joyce Leroy, who went by the nickname Josh, because why not? She told Cheryl once, I think it was a very brave and noble thing to go to your mother's defense. And Lana and Cheryl continued to work on their relationship for their whole lives because it was forever fraught from the early damage in this whole thing.
Yeah.
But they worked on it. And during her final years, Lana became reclusive, spending most of her time in her Century City condo, calling it her ivory tower. She obsessively followed another celebrity trial, the O.J. Simpson case,
Oh no.
predicting correctly that he was going to get off. This is cute. She remained super close with Carmen Cruz up until the end, and they would take long drives in the cars that Lana bought her. I'm just like, oh,
Nice.
I'm picturing like Grace and Frankie. Um, she did get throat cancer, underwent chemo, and became extremely frail by 1992. She was under 100 pounds. And then she died June 29th, 1995, in Carmen's arms. She left Cheryl $50,000 and the rest to Carmen. And her life and legacy inspired a book, Harold Robbins' Where Has Our Love Gone? And a character in a film noir. Oh, yeah, that was LA Confidential. And Cheryl got to marry her Josh, love of her life, in 2014. And Lana once said that she was like
Thanks,
a second
Obama.
daughter to her. So, yeah, they were gay.
Casey didn't figure it out.
Right? She never wanted you, Johnny. Anyway, that was a weird way to end it. I'm sorry. I'm in too deep. Pull me out. I don't know what anything is anymore. Kelsey's laptop's gonna die because we've been here for 17 hours. Or 2. But it was
About 2.
about 2, which is a lot of talking for me to be doing.
Yes.
All right.
Wow. That was a wild one.
Right? It's a roller coaster. You think the woman's gonna get it, and then it's no.
Yeah. Damn. And then she got married like 4 more times.
It's a little exhausting.
It's like, yeah, like you said, you don't have to marry all of them.
No, you don't.
Like, get married like, ugh. That's like once a decade. That's a lot.
I know. How many prenups? Anyway.
Yeah, that's a lot of paperwork. I hope you paid your lawyer a lot. They were probably exhausted.
Oh, right. So yes, everyone be nice to your mothers, your daughters, and you don't have to get married. That's our takeaway. I don't know. Oh my god. All right. Well, catch you next.
Excuse you, Gordo. You just went.
I think that means he liked it.
Who knows?
He was like, there was no mention of any cats. I did not enjoy it. All right. Well, anyway, we'll catch you next time for a totally different thing. And until next time, keep it cryptic.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Castles and Cryptids. We love all our listeners and appreciate every subscriber, every new review, every listen, rate, and download. Our music is by Kobe Off Air, and our cover art is by Antonio Garcia. We are also a proud member of Darkcast Network, where you can find the best and spookiest of all indie podcasts. Follow us on social media, where we are at Castles and Cryptids on mostly all of the things, now including TikTok. Check out our bonus content on Patreon, Cryptid Clashes, video minisodes of your host making asses of themselves, Ask Me Anything, quizzes, other special episodes, and more. Starting at just $2 a month, you can get 1 to 2 extra episodes, depending on your level. We produce, edit, and research everything ourselves, and any support you can lend helps us to keep it cryptic.